Folks, number one, don't mind the mess. I'm about to be in the process of moving, and also disregard the echo because there's nothing on my walls. So it sounds like I'm in a cave right now. Yesterday, I went and saw, or last night, I went and saw the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and it was pretty much everything I expected it to be, but better. And since I just saw it last night, I'm gonna be freeballing this. I'll get into some spoilers at the end, but I'll let you know before I do that. I know I'm not good at, at spoiler warnings, but I'll let you know. Overall, this movie, if you like the first two Deadpool movies, you're gonna like this movie. It's the same sense of humor. It's that same Ryan Reynolds quick, witty gag type thing. I think it does kind of lack in a couple of areas, but overall, I don't know if I'd say this is the movie that could save the MCU, but it's definitely helping its case. The villain in the movie, Cassandra Nova, who we find out she's Charles Xavier's twin sister who he killed in the womb, which is just crazy. That's insane to even think about. She's in charge of everything that's called the Void, which is where all these different universes have sent basically their disregarded characters. So, in this movie, too, if you don't know already, there is a metric ass ton of cameos from different actors playing certain roles and things like that from the past. That if you've been watching any kind of Marvel movies since, I don't know, the original X-Men, you'll probably recognize a lot of, if not all, of these cameos. And certain ones, there was a couple in there too, or one or two that never really came to fruition, but we kind of got closure with this movie, which I'll elaborate on a little later. It's so hot in this room right now. So we finally get Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. In this movie, in his universe, he basically was out drinking, and the humans came and wiped out all of the X-Men. He went on a rampage, killing all of humans, whether they're innocent or not. And this basically ruined the image of mutants in that universe. So he basically just drinks his problems away, and that's just how he lives now. Deadpool has basically given up and has put down the costume and the mask and just works as a car salesman with a wig on that he thinks that everyone thinks is real, which is clearly not. So going into this movie, I was a little concerned with it being a multiverse movie because obviously Marvel has absolutely beat that to death. Marvel and, I mean, at this point, DC, if you saw that godforsaken Flash movie, holy Jesus. But they have beat the multiverse thing to a pulp. It is so just dead and beat to death that I think as a collective, we're all kind of tired of seeing it. We're all like, do something new, do something original. I understand the interest of the multiverse, but like, give me something better than that. But this movie was not bad. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was funny the first 15, 20 seconds into the movie, I was already laughing. It's not that, and it is that same, like I said, that same Deadpool type Ryan Reynolds humor, but it lands differently in this movie. It's a little, I think it's because he makes so many references to Disney and Fox and Marvel that it kind of rings more true than just making like situational jokes like he did in the last two movies. Finally, we get, after so long, Ryan Reynolds trying to get Hugh Jackman to come on and be in this movie as Wolverine. He finally does it, and let me just tell you, Hugh Jackman is a generational talent. That man acts his ass off in this movie. In the trailers, it was kind of like he was just there because he was getting paid. But in the movie, he 100% sells it. They kind of run the Logan storyline and that whole what happened in that movie. Getting to see him yet again, which, like I said, if you're like me and you've been watching these Marvel movies since those original three X-Men movies that I think started in 2000, I think the first one was in 2000. Hugh Jackman he is the only Wolverine that we've ever gotten. He's the only live action Wolverine, the only person to ever play him in live action. So that was really cool to get him back. I hate that it took 24 years for us to finally see the blue and yellow suit. Oh my gosh. And it looks incredible. The new Deadpool suit looks incredible. The Wolverine suit looks incredible. Very well done in the clothing department of this movie. It's so hot in this room. I don't know why it's so hot in here. It must be like a gazillion degrees outside. Overall, the movie was good. Everybody in the movie rocked. Like, all the actors, the villains, everybody, whoever the, what's his name, Paradox at the TVA, everybody in this movie rocked. I was not let down or disappointed by any of their roles or how they did it or anything. Ryan Reynolds, yet again, born to play this role. Hugh Jackman, born to play Wolverine. The actress who played Cassandra Nova, she was really good. She really sold it well. Her backstory and like her reasoning for things are a little meh to me, but I get it. I understand it, but she killed it. She has like this thing where she could put her hand like through people's heads and like put her fingers like in their eye and like their eyes move. It's weird. It's super weird. But she was a really interesting character, and I wouldn't be totally upset if they decided to kind of expand on her a little more and sort of give her a little more to do. Like I said, I wasn't really thrilled about it being a multiverse movie, but with Marvel being where it's at, that's just what we're gonna have to deal with at this point. Is this the movie that will save the MCU? I maybe. I don't know. It's now that Deadpool is officially in the MCU, he's in the same universe as, the Captain Americas and the Tom Holland Spider-Man and Hulk and Thor and like all these other people. Me and my roommate who I went and saw the movie with, we were talking about how would they put Deadpool in, a PG-13 rated movie, like as a side character or like a whatever. Like how would they do that? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but I think it definitely could be interesting. Give it a little interesting little twist on things. Overall, this movie was incredible. I loved it. I was laughing from beginning to end. Plot, storyline, kind of hit or miss, depending on what you are expecting of this movie. It's not bad. I just thought it was a little weak. But it still holds up, in my opinion. Overall, before I get into spoilers, I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it a good 8.5 out of 10. It was awesome. I laughed. It was so good. So, with that being said, into the spoilers. So hot in this room. Alright, so, if you didn't already know, there is a ton of cameos in this movie. A lot of them are sort of, well, not a lot of them, but a couple of them are very much, like, tying up sort of loose ends on characters that, like, either never happened or we never got, like, a legitimate ending to. I think the first one that we come across is, actually, the first ones we come across are the original Pyro, Toad, and Sabretooth from the original X-Men series. I can't think of Aaron Stanford is the guy that plays Pyro, but I can't think of the other two actors' names. But it was really cool getting to see them again, because honestly, Pyro has always been one of my favorite X-Men characters. I think it's super cool to control fire. I don't know what I would do with that. I don't know. I'd light a candle from a distance, maybe? I don't know. But I just think that'd be a super dope power. We come across Chris Evans, where they kind of bait you into thinking he's going to be Captain America, but it turns out that this is his version of Johnny Storm from the original Fantastic Four movie from the early 2000s. I forget what year, but it was really interesting to see how in, the Captain America movies, he's this very, like, buttoned up, like, uptight, play by the rules guy, and then he's just this, like, foul-mouthed, like, arrogant POS in this movie as Johnny Storm, as the Human Torch. That was really cool. Later on, we come across Blade, Elektra, and one that this is what I'm talking about, that never happened, Channing Tatum as Gambit, which, I don't know how much into Marvel we are here, but years ago, it was rumored that Channing Tatum was in the running to play Gambit in some kind of upcoming, like, X-Men movie. The whole thing just never happened. I think it was also through Fox, but basically they just scrapped the whole thing and it never happened. So that was really cool to sort of get some closure on that and to finally see Channing Tatum in the Gambit outfit. What is it? Jennifer Gardner was Elektra, and Wesley Snipes as Blade, of course, which, again, they make a lot of nods to Marvel and universes. Like, in the movie, he says, "I'm the only Blade," and where Deadpool does his thing, where he breaks the fourth wall, and he looks at the camera and just kind of, But yeah, those were just a few of them. All in all, it was almost as much of a Wolverine movie as it was a Deadpool movie. There's a lot of growing and realization and whatever that Wolverine goes through in this movie, where he just sort of kind of learns that he can't necessarily go back and change the past, but he just has to learn to live with what he's done, and that has made him who he is. Like I said, too, the TVA is obviously involved in this movie. That was in like the first trailer. We get to see our person, what's her name, Hunter B-52. It was great to see her again. If you've watched the Loki series, which I don't know if anybody has, but this movie will make a lot more sense if you have. It was good to see her. She basically is like in control of like this part of the TVA. Paradox, he was fun. He was a fun character. He just has like this cocky like ego thing about him. Before he sends Deadpool and Wolverine into the void, where they come across Cassandra Nova and like all these other people. Where it's a very like Mad Max style. But yeah, no. Everybody in this movie is awesome. The cameos are great. They're not overdone, and the cameos aren't done in a way where it's like, they're just like dangling it in front of you like, "Oh, look, here's so and so. Be happy." All the cameos were honestly in the movie longer than I thought they would be. Every single one of them. I thought we might see them for a minute or two. They were in the movie longer than that. Longer than I definitely thought they would be. So that was kind of cool. It was nice to get a cameo of someone and them not be dead in 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, this movie was awesome. Like I said, if you liked the first two Deadpools, I definitely think you'll like this one. It was very well done. You can tell too, if it isn't already obvious, Ryan Reynolds has so much love for this character. And he's made that abundantly clear in all three of these movies now. Even in the first one and the second one, you can just tell that he cares so much about this character and making this character relevant in general, which I think that's honestly part of the reason why I like these movies a lot. I can understand if some people find him annoying as this character or find him just annoying in general. He does have that very one like acting style that Ryan Reynolds does. He's just Ryan Reynolds. But part of me also just appreciates that. I mean, at this point, he's I think before the first Deadpool movie, he had been fighting with studios and Marvel and all these other whoever to try to get Deadpool off the ground for like over 10 years. So easily over 15 years now at this point. But you can just tell that he cares so much about this character, and that really shows in these movies. And I think that is why actors like Hugh Jackman and these other cameos and stuff like that, why I mean, maybe some of them were harder than others to get to make an appearance. I don't know. There's something that I can respect about having that love and that care for a character, and wanting to make sure that it's put out in such a way that it can appeal to almost anybody. It doesn't appeal to everybody. That's perfectly fine. But I have a lot of respect for that. I have a lot of respect for the will and how much he has tried and how much he has delivered on making this character something. Even back in the X-Men Origin days, when we got that weird version of him, the original version. But yeah, this movie was awesome. I loved it. As soon as we walked out, my roommate and I both said, as soon as that comes out on a streaming service, like, I'm going to watch it again. Like, I'm definitely going to watch this movie again. I highly recommend seeing it in theaters. It was awesome in theaters. There wasn't a ton of people in ours with us, but it was cool to share that, experience with other people. It's been a while. I don't think I've been to a theater to see a movie since Multiverse of Madness. So that was kind of nice to finally, get back into a theater and see a movie like this, especially one that's as big as this one and doing as well as this one is. But yeah, so I tried to keep that as brief as I could. My little review of Deadpool and Wolverine. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. And thanks for watching. And I'll be back here at some point once I move and get all my stuff together. I'll be back at some point. So have a good day and goodbye.